What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about a very common American experience that I think a lot of Brits out there will find very entertaining. So today I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion where somebody asked, what things in Harry Potter did you think were magic or made up? But later realized it was actually just British. So, like many Americans, I can absolutely relate to this. My personal example would be the cupboard under the stairs that Harry lived in. I actually thought that was some quirky, fictional thing that only existed in Harry Potter's house for some reason. And only later did I finally learn that that is actually a fairly common thing in Britain for storage and extra space. So there's a whole bunch of examples of things like this, apparently, that Americans like myself thought, you have to understand, Harry Potter for a lot of us was one of our first exposures to British culture, and we just kind of thought it was magic or fiction, whereas it was actually just British. A lot of it was just British things that we had never heard of before. So today, I want to take a look at this Reddit discussion to discover some more things that are not Harry Potter magic, but in fact, just British. So let's take a look at some of the top answers here, starting with people selling you stuff off a trolley on trains. Exactly. That's that's not just Harry Potter. I thought that was so cool. And then I went to the UK and it was real. Is this a thing? Well, I think trains are a little more common in the UK, the whole public transportation. I can't remember the last time I was on a. I've never been on just a straight up train outdoors. I've been on like an underground subway when I was a kid. There was certainly no trolley or cart. Exactly. I thought that was like a fun, whimsical Harry Potter thing. Is that really a thing in the UK? That's kind of cool. Like, are they coming down the aisle with candy or food or? I love long distance train rides. For some reason, the little trolley makes me lose all sense of fictional worth because it's real. You can get mini cheddars? Really? This is this is amazing. A galleon, which is the Harry Potter currency, is divided up into 17 sickles. Okay, you can't tell me that a galleon and the sickles are those are not real. Those are not real. This is where I draw the line. And however many nuts, but isn't that much crazier than the pre-decimalization division of the GBP? So, like, this is a throwback to old British currency? Is that what it is? Hmm? What is it? Note for young people and American and Americans. 1 shilling is 5p? What? 2 thorough pences is a sixpence. 6 pences is 1 shilling. 2 bobs and a florin. Oh my god! If you this sounds made up. This that's but this is just British. Oh, this farthings is a 2 farthings and a ha'penny. This is if you had told me all this in Harry Potter, I would have definitely been like, yeah, that's just fictional currency. It's just British currency. And the what it sorry, one of my lights is blinking. What? Did anybody see that? Maybe not. Maybe that was Harry Potter. I think one of my light bulbs is going out. Anyway. Okay. When Hagrid mentions some people, think Voldemort died, and then says it's Codswallop. Yes, there's a whole bunch of words in Harry Potter that I think they're just British slang or not even slang, just phrases, normal words. But to us, yes, I thought this was just Harry Potter magic lingo. Yeah, I definitely thought Codswallop was some wizarding world disease for the next decade or so. There's so many things like Codswallop in British words in the books that after a while, as an American reading it, you really just stopped questioning it. You stopped thinking about it as like, oh, what is it? You just hear the word, you just read the word Codswallop and be like, ah, okay. Wizard word. Okay, sure. This person thought it was a disease, actually. I don't remember thinking anything about. There were so many things. I even remember in the first movie, one of the biggest things was when Ron eats one of the every flavor beans, jelly beans, on the train, and he's like, "Oh, that's bogey flavored. It tastes like bogies." And every American kid had the same thing going through their mind, thinking, "What is a bogey?" Like, a bogey is a golf term. How can you taste a bogey? And then only later was I thinking, like, oh, it means booger, like the thing in your nose, like booger flavored, right? But is it bogey in Britain, or that's one I've always thought about from the movie. Schoolhouses. Schoolhouses are real? Like, okay. See, this is crazy. Yeah. So this is something I really genuinely identify with Harry Potter lore, like the Harry Potter verse. Like, oh, at the wizarding school there are houses. That's a unique idea. Like, and they compete and they have to do with your identity. You're here to tell me, in Britain, in regular schools, or what? There are houses? You are divided up into school houses? For what purpose? And do you have to wear a talking hat to tell you which one to go into? You see, this is real? Houses? In Harry Potter, the purpose was to divide you up based on your ambitions and your personalities. And there was like contests between the houses and rivalries. What's the purpose in real life if this is a real British thing? Prefects. Prefects are real? Am I saying this right? Prefects. Now that 1000% like houses and prefects I thought were part of Hogwarts. Like the wizarding school. That they had made up some really oh, that's interesting. Houses. How'd they come up with that? Prefects. Like the student who is the leader of the house, sort of? The hall monitor? This is a real thing? What? You really have these positions in schoolhouses? Yep, and we also have a head boy and head girl? I swear. I'm telling you, every American who read Harry Potter has no idea this stuff is real. That is so funny. It's what I was trying to say earlier. It's for a lot of Americans, myself included, Harry Potter was one of our first, you know, British influences, one of our first exposures to British culture. The sad thing is, we just didn't know it. Oh, Beozars? Isn't that like a rock? I mean, in real life, they aren't going to cure you of anything, and are probably the result of bad issues, but Harry Potter is the first place I heard of them. Beozars. I think that's like a big medically, that's like a big hairy rock that can form in your stomach. I think I've heard of that in real life. Um, Prefects, I can't believe that's real. Lots of food in the books, specifically like spotted dick and treacle tart. Spotted dick I've heard of because it's funny, for Americans. Ha ha, very funny. Uh, Treacle tart, I remember that, reading that in the book. That sounds magical. It's amazing what your brain will make you think when you don't know any other way. When I read treacle tart, that just sounded so magical to me. Oh my gosh. My, is my light bulb just gonna be flashing this entire video? Maybe that's appropriate because it's kind of magical. Ooh. Um, I figured out later that treacle is real similar to the filling in pecan pie. That was a mild surprise. Really, it's like pecan pie. Uh, Chocolate frogs are a British classic. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's just British people in this discussion trying to prank me now. Chocolate frogs are not real. They are not a British classic. Are they? They use only the Okay. Flown from Iraq, cleansed. Okay. It is actually a troll. Okay, good. Okay, Filch. Punting students across the swamp in the corridor. Punting, yes. He's punting students. If you're American, this makes no sense. It has to be magical because this is child abuse if it's not. I had always pictured him kicking students like a football. Yeah, that's what punting means. I learned instead it means to take them over in a pole boat. In a boat? Oh my god. See, it's amazing the things we just assumed were magic fiction. Even like kicking students. Oh my gosh. Um, this is related, but the opposite. I'm Australian, and we're still very British. I went to Universal Studios, and I kept seeing people in school uniforms. I thought nothing of it, thinking it was school children, until I realized they were in Hogwarts uniforms. This is another one I do now I know in Britain it's the norm to wear school uniforms, which is why in Harry Potter they're wearing school uniforms. Sometimes it's robes, sometimes it's button-up shirts with a tie. That was all just like magical Harry Potter stuff for Americans. Now I know in Britain you have school uniforms, uniforms that look like that, minus the robes, I think. As a teenager reading the books, Spotted Dick. Yeah. I'm surprised they kept that in the American version. I know they changed some things. Yeah, they changed some things in the American and British editions of Harry Potter. I know they did. But they kept enough in that it was confusing. The name Hermione. Yes, is this a British name? Because this is certainly unlike any name I've heard in my whole life. This is the most unique name. This is the first time I ever heard this name. I've never heard anyone else with the name Hermione, though. Is this a normal British name? When we were reading the book, all of us thought it was Hermione, or Hermione. It was only when the movies came out did we all learn it was Hermione. All Americans were pronouncing this wrong. A kid sent a letter thanking Rowling, the author, because when Harry Potter got popular, people could pronounce her name. Is that actually a name? I thought that was completely made up. Argus Filch, when you first meet him, you assume he's magic because he works at Hogwarts. But he's not magic. He's just British. He's just a regular British bloke. The entire note, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, reading Harry Potter when I was a kid, at no point did I really think, oh, this is taking place in Britain. I never made that connection, really, which is pretty shocking. I'm positive, I mean, there were definitely references to Britain, places, words, but for us kids, American kids, reading the books, like, we really did not think about where this was taking place. It could have been in America. For in our minds, it probably was. The entire notion of parents shipping their kids off to school for 7 years. Yeah. So that's not a Harry. Yeah, that's very much a Harry Potter thing. Like in America, this does not happen. You don't get sent off to school. I was always like, man, Harry Potter and Ron and Hermione are like at school all year. They don't even see their families. Oh my God. They go home during Christmas. Like, oh my God. Apparently, this is like British boarding school, right? You kind of have something like that. Yeah, I went to boarding school for a couple years. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so funny. Oh my gosh. Casually offering your guest an entire pie. Turns out, little pies are common in Britain. Oh. Again, like in Harry Potter, they're eating entire. You're getting offered a whole pie. In America, that means it's like a big old pie for like 10 people. No, in Britain, you have tiny pies, tiny individual pies. Oh my gosh, Christmas crackers. I don't remember Christmas crackers in the books, but if I read that, I would think it's a food, like a cracker. All Americans would just think this is a cracker. Now I know this is a fun little twisty, pulley thing in Christmas time in Britain, right? Most Americans don't know about that one. I know about that one. Scotland, right? Like, isn't that where the Hogwarts Express is going through? Were there actual references to Scotland in Harry Potter? Like, did I just not pick up on it? Oh my god. Growing up in suburban North America, taking a train seemed pretty magical to me. Yes. Platform 9 3/4, the train station, the Hogwarts Express, the train. That was all magical to us because it's like we don't have trains like that. I think we have a couple, mostly I mean, they're all for transporting goods and like coal and stuff. Um, what else? This is great. At 10 years old, I had to Google Knickerbocker Glory. I don't remember Knickerbocker Glory. What is that? When I went to London as a 16-year-old, I had to get one, and I immediately related it to Dudley. I don't remember Knickerblocker Glory. What is it? Dudley complains because his doesn't have enough ice cream. Oh God, if I probably read that and that went right over my head. There were so many things just like that in the books where my brain would be like, I don't know what that is. That's some magic thing. All right, let's keep going. Whenever they said bollocks, that's right. They were saying so many British words. How did I not make the connection? They were saying bollocks, as in rubbish. Although I understood the intention of the word, I was convinced it was a fantastic creature or some magical word, kind of like somebody calling you a troll. Uh, my sister explained they are testicles, and it's a common British curse. Really? Is that what that means? When they drove on the left side of the sky. Because in Britain you drive on the left side of the road. Oh, I never realized that one. It surprised me. I heard that Harry Potter didn't exaggerate much when it compared to the strictness of school life in the UK. I was surprised by how strict they were. Yeah, it was very strict. In one book, Harry is like having to write down how bad he is with the pen that cuts actual like physical wounds into his arm as he writes. Pretty strict. The fact that he grew up in Surrey. So, yeah, I remember Surrey. I remember a little bit about where Harry's family lived. So that's a real place in Britain. See, yeah, Privet Drive. Oh my gosh, that's a real place. See, there. No idea. No idea. No idea. The night bus. I thought that was made up until I visited London. The night bus? That you guys have actual night buses? And is that why it wasn't it double decker? Don't you have double decker buses? Oh my gosh. It just doesn't teleport. Or do they? Oh my gosh. I thought Harry was raised in a closet. Yeah, the closet. I thought that was made up. The cupboard, the closet under the stairs. As a British person, it's fun to read this. Yeah, it must be so strange. Um, the Ministry of Magic seemed explicit to Harry Potter world. When I visited England, I learned of the Ministry of Defense or Ministry of Agriculture. Oh, you guys really use the word ministry? See, that sounds magical to me. Ministry of. You have a Ministry of Agriculture? That's actually how you word government departments. Oh my god. That's crazy. I think there's just endless amounts of this stuff. So much of Harry Potter. This was hilarious and pretty eye-opening, actually. I really enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on Harry Potter or clearing up any of these confusions that us Americans had about Harry Potter. That's so funny. I think this is a universal American experience, all these misconceptions. This isn't magic, it's British. If you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and learning about British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.